Welcome to Monday Soul Deliciousness. If you haven't been here before, you're in for a treat. Tonight, we are talking about self-love. All right. Sometimes social media doesn't like to play fair, so I may or may not be able to see your comments. So that's just a disclosure. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. Hello, guys. Happy Monday. Welcome to Soul Deliciousness. Hop on. Maybe we should do a giveaway tonight. I think we should. We should do a giveaway. If you want a giveaway, let's do a giveaway. I'll let you guys hop on for a second. We're going to talk about self-love tonight. So hop on. Say hello. Tell me where you're from. Get all set up and we will get going. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start. I will do a giveaway. I'm going to do a free energy healing session. Hello, Lucy. I'm going to do a free energy healing session. So I will go back through all of the comments after I'm done. And I will, happy Monday. Hello, Monica. I will give away a energy healing session, which will also include a scan with the Healy. If you have not had a Healy scan before, this thing is phenomenal. So I couple it with my body code sessions and it's just fantastic. So we can work on anything you want. Chronic pain, emotional stuff, weight loss, detoxing, whatever it is that is ailing you, we will work on it. So how do you win a free session? Well, during my live tonight, all you have to do is share my video and then type shared when you do. And then as soon as I'm done, I will go back through and pick someone from the live and I will give you a session. All right, so we're going to talk tonight. Hello, Pixie. We're going to talk tonight about self-love, right? That's a really tough one. I work with people all the time that struggle with this. Self-love. It is not, let's see, it's not even necessarily your fault. So one of the problems that all of us have is we're missing this non-judgmental love. Like we're taught that we shouldn't love ourselves because there's something wrong with us, and it's all based off of past agreements. Being critical is a very learned behavior. If you watch a group of kids and they're running around playing and they're really super young and they haven't, of course, if they've been around parents that are really bad at this or other siblings, but if they haven't been around other people, they're not critical of other children. They haven't learned yet how to pick people apart. And that's the problem that we have when we have little kids. They listen to everything that we say. They absorb everything that we do. And so even if it's something simple, like we're watching TV and someone's on a TV and, maybe your 2-year-old sitting next to you and someone in the room makes a comment about the person that's on the television, about their hair, about the way they're dressed, about whether or not, they're thin or fat or whatever it is, then automatically, right, the child picks up on that. And now they're like, oh, so there is a right and a wrong. And we learn this, and we learn this judgmental love that we start doing that to ourselves. Because if we hear someone else say it, we're watching the TV when we're 2, someone says, oh, I don't like the way her hair is. What happens? We start becoming really judgmental of ourselves because we want acceptance. As young children, even now, everybody wants to be accepted. So when you hear people that you love, people that are your caregivers, especially, or your friends, and they are talking about things that they don't accept in other people, then we automatically start to judge ourselves. And so we have this really judgmental love going on, and we're missing what I call non-judgmental love. Now, so I should tell you, wherever my book is, the stuff that I'm talking about tonight actually comes from a book, which I have haphazardly misplaced. Oh, it's under my water. I'm going to show it to you because it's really good. And we're only touching on the very, very first part of this book, but it really is literally, we're touching on the first 6 pages. It's super good. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to read this. But there was a little book group, even though I'm not very social, that were reading it, and I decided to jump into it. The Dark Side of the Light Chasers. It's reclaiming your power, creativity, brilliance, and dreams. I will tell you that I heard the title of it before I actually saw the book. And so I was like, what does that even mean? I actually expected that this was a book about like, I don't know, like entities or something. And so initially I was like, no, I'm okay. I'm not really into that. I don't think that's really not what it is. It's just basically about enlightening yourself and getting rid of your own dark side, right? I was thinking of it as like dark side as in like people on the other side and the darkness. I don't know. Anyways, it's really super good. So we're just going through like the first, man, I'm having, wonky hair in my eyes. We're just going to go through the first 6 pages and I'm going to point some stuff out that are so good. Hello. Hi, Sandy. Thanks for joining us. Hey, guys, if you're just hopping on and you want to be eligible to win one of my sessions, one of my energy healing sessions, just share the video while I'm live at some point and you will get a free session with me with Blocked Emotions Energy Healing where you can do a body code session and I'll also do a Healy frequency scan with you. If you're like, I have no idea what any of that means, I promise you it is life-changing. You can actually go find the pinned video on the top of my page and I talked all about how it works over the weekend. Okay, so here we go. I love this. So see the value in every aspect of your personality. How many of you do that? Oh, let's be honest, probably no one, right? Seeing the value in every aspect of your personality. How is that even possible? How many of you are really good at apologizing for who you are? You go, you meet someone, you start to say something, right? Like, hey, my name is Amy. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm really loud. Hey, or I mean, you even see people do this now that even in situations like at work where we already all know each other and then somebody will apologize for who they are. I mean, I do it too. It's totally human. Apologizing for my weirdness. I think I've gotten a lot better at it because, right, once you acknowledge that you do something, then it's way easier to stop doing it. Thank you for sharing, Sandy. So stop apologizing for who you are. Now, some of you are like, but I have all these faults. I have all these things that are wrong with me. Okay, well, let me give you a good motivation for why you should trim your hair before going live. Let me give you some good motivation for why you should do this, because some of you get stuck in this. Well, it's selfish to love myself. So I'm going to tell you a really powerful thought, and it's 100% true. Okay, the biggest reason to do this, the biggest reason to love yourself, the biggest reason to good morning, hello, good evening, Lisa. It's been a Monday. The biggest reason to do this is when you finally embrace who you are, okay, which you feel like could be kind of selfish. When you finally embrace who you are, those around you automatically feel better too. Ah, right? That's kind of one of those. Now, wait now. But when you fully embrace who you are, you make the other people around you feel better. And therefore, ta-da, you're not really being selfish by learning to love who you are. So stop apologizing for yourself. The more you like who you are, the better the people around you feel, right? So I'm a human being, unfortunately, and I only say that because I'd rather be something like, like with wings or something that flies. Preferably a dragon. But if I have a moment, I even did this today. I was watching my live this morning and I'm like, man, I feel like my energy is kind of low. And the reason that I get on live in the mornings every weekday at 7:15 Mountain Standard Time, by the way, is so that I can inspire and lift others up. And I have to catch myself because sometimes my restream, which is what I'm using to stream to all my platforms, doesn't show me that any of you are here. So then I'm like, am I just talking to myself? Is anyone out there? Does anyone care? Probably not, right? I have things creep into my head. I see stupid comments like the other day when the lady's like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. You need to go brush your hair. And I was like, okay, breathe in and breathe out, right? It's probably not even a real person. I mean, it's a real person, but you know what I mean. It's easy to get wrapped up in stuff. It's easy to have people put you down. It's easy to be affected by other people and to not feel good about yourself. So, fully embrace who you are. Like I fully embrace the fact that I have curly hair. I'm not going to brush it because it turns into a gigantic gigantic, out of control. Hi, Shelly. Turns into a gigantic, out of control thing. I used to actually have a video on my YouTube page where I'm picking fun at my mom, and I brushed my hair out. And so I can't remember if it's on there or not still, but if it is, you should check it out because that's pretty cool. But when you fully embrace who you are, other people feel better around you. So when I fully embrace who I am, I don't care what other people are thinking, right? What do you think happens if I come on live and I'm all worried about someone being critical? I'm not going to be able to express to you anything that I'm doing. I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to pick myself apart and I'm going to be like, whoa, I have all this stuff wrong with me. Like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And then I can't express what I'm trying to get to you because I'm so worried about it. So it's easier said than done, right? But don't give a hoot, plain and simple, just don't. Okay, so triumphing over your darkest feelings is really critical to this. And what the heck am I talking about? It's those judgments that people have us put into our heads. Sometimes we don't want to think about them because we feel like if we think about our dark side, then what are we doing? We feel guilty, right? So maybe for myself, I've learned to embrace this, but before I love the color black. So that's not something that I would have admitted in my past, because I feel like if I admit that I love the color black, then something's wrong with me and people are going to think that I have some kind of evil dark side, right? And so now I joke about it. I joke about things. I have a tiny bit of a morbid side. So I joke about saying, I'm going to bury somebody in the backyard with my shovel. Am I really doing that? No. Am I mocking somebody that's been through a horrible event where that's happened? No. But am I embracing that I have a little bit of a creepy, morbid side? Yes. I love black. I love dragons. I'm totally into mythical, magical energies. Yes. And before I was like, ooh, don't say that. I live in the state of Utah. If there's a spot where you could potentially be burned at a stake for being outside and coloring outside the lines, it could potentially be in a community that's got really a lot of people that follow the same thing, right? So what did I learn as I was growing up? Ooh, you better fit into this box. This is the box that is made for you, and you shove yourself in it. And then we do not embrace our full selves. And without that, we cannot fully love who we are. We cannot fully find all of the strength and power that we have. So triumph over all parts of you, even the darkest feelings. And your most judgmental self gives you internal strength that is absolutely priceless. Okay. And now this is what happens when you love who you are. You really honestly love who you are. And you know what? If you're like, well, I'm on that path and I'm just working on it. I'm working on it. That's okay. I had one of my friends watching one of my videos that I shared that I had done maybe 2 years ago. And she's laughing at me, right? And she says, "You're faking it." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "It's not you. It's not the you that you are today." And initially, what do you think happened? For a minute, I was like, "Oh," right? And I was a little not offended by it because I love her. I wasn't offended. She's very straightforward and she's very honest. And that's one of the reasons why I love her. And she's such a great friend. But my initial thought was, I got to delete that video, right? I don't want anyone to see it. Like do I look weak? I'm faking it, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, no, this is part of my journey. Watch myself before. If I watch myself 2 years ago and I'm watching myself today and I don't see that I've progressed anywhere, that is not acceptable for me. So I watch it and I relish in it and think, ooh, look how far I've come. Look what I have become now. Look how much more reach I have for helping people than I did when I first started. It's all part of the journey. Embrace it. All right. When you embrace this, a couple of things. I'm guilty of this. When I first started my page, I remember posting something that was slightly controversial. I thought it was hilarious, but I have a little bit of a super sarcastic personality and I just don't take things very personally. And I really offended a bunch of people. When I did start my page, it actually was off a religious platform. So I had a lot of people on there that were from my religious community. And I really offended some people. And I got I'm not following you anymore. You're not the type of person that I thought you were, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, hey, I was just, saw a meme. I thought it was funny, right? A lot of attacking, a lot of bantering going on. For a minute, I went live and made fun of people. And then I had to take a really big mental reflection. And I had to be like, is this really what I want my page to be about? It's kind of at the beginning. I wasn't even sure really what I wanted my social media platform to be. And I realized really quickly through my own healing journey that wasn't a good thing. Arguing with others, even if I thought I was right, arguing with others creates negative emotions. Arguing with others creates negative energy. So this is what I've learned. I don't argue with other people. I accept myself who I am. I love who I am, and I don't need to argue with anyone else to prove a point. I don't need to argue with you to tell you that I'm right or I'm wrong. I don't need to argue with you like the other day when the lady did make the post about my hair. I don't care. I love who I am. You don't need to like me, so I just deleted it. I don't need to get into a confrontation with anyone. I had a TikTok where Dave is ripping out the front room window. And I haven't been on TikTok very long, so I didn't realize that there were comments, and apparently someone told me that there were, and I looked at one of them, and someone made a snarky comment about he can pull out the windows if he wants because I'm sure that he makes all the money in the family and you probably don't make any. And I was like, the old me would have like, right? And come out and would like, I'll rip your heart out of your body and I'll take a bite out of it. That was a little creepy. Sorry. Anyway, the old me would have done that. And the new me was like, I just laughed about it. And I'm like, you're right. And I can't even remember what I said. Something really sarcastic, like, you're right. I don't work at all. So Dave should pull out all the windows whenever he feels like it and do whatever he wants because he gets nothing. I'm like, he doesn't even get sex anymore. And I just laughed about it because that's who I've become. Like, I'm so comfortable in my own skin that I just don't care. Dave, when he had his surgery the other day, they told him to dress really comfortable, right? I showed up in my pajamas with him and the lady was like, so I guess you're both dressed. What'd she say? You both are matching. And I was like, I'm like, this is my normal attire. I will go around Salt Lake City and visit all of the home goods stores in my pajama pants. And this is how I roll. And so she was like, okay, like, I don't care. I mean, I pretty much am not sure that I even have a restriction on where I would wear my pajama pants. So yeah, no, the only place that I don't wear my pajama pants is when riding a horse because you kind of need that little extra Levi thing going on there. Okay, we won't go into that. All right. The other thing that it does that's really good for you, thank you, hi Jan, is you don't need to argue with others, but you also accept life's ups and downs because you're just vibing in a higher place. You can accept things coming and going. When you have something happen to you and you're not liking who you are, guess what you do? You blame yourself, right? This must be a reward process. Good example of this. When my little girl, when we found out Kinley, I was pregnant, 20 weeks pregnant. We found out we were having a girl, our only girl, our first girl. Dave and I were elated. Shortly thereafter, during the ultrasound, we found out she had a heart defect. Heartbreaking, like totally heart shattering. Comments that I got after that were, you and Dave have both been widowed. If you're just joining, you've never been on here. So my first spouse took his life. Dave's first spouse passed away from a disease. Okay, so people were like, oh, you both have been widowed. There's no way God would do that to you. There's no way God would have your baby girl pass away. And I was like, I don't think that's how that works, but whatever. But that's what people have been taught, right? Life is about a reward and oh my gosh, my mind just went blank. Discipline, reward and discipline. When we do things that are right, when we do things that are acceptable, then we're rewarded. When we do things that are wrong, then we're not rewarded. So I was like, oh, okay. So what do you think? Cognitively, subconsciously, right? My daughter passes away. So did I do something? What did I do to deserve this? I must have done something wrong because God already took away our spouses and now we lost our little girl, right? That's that stupid past agreements that you've been taught as a kid. No, it has nothing to do with it. So, I mean, at that moment, yeah, I'm sure that I did blame myself for something. But now I accept life's ups and downs. And I realize I'm not responsible for other people, not responsible for the decisions that my kids make. I can try really hard to be a good mom and be very supportive. Have I made mistakes in the past with my kiddos? Absolutely. But it's all part of learning. And guess what? They're going to get married and have kids too, and they're not going to do it all right either. And hopefully they have the maturity level to look at that and be like, hey, I know my mom was trying and, she did the best that she could. And that's accepting the ups and downs of life because you accept and you love who you are. All right. Now, this is one of my favorite parts of this. I mean, this is all good, right? But this is really good. Okay. Here you go. For those of you that are like, but I have so many things wrong with me. Who told you that? First of all, the person that told you that, they're the ones with the things wrong with them, right? So whoever told you that, they have actually projecting. They're projecting. And unfortunately, they've probably been through a really crappy life. I want you to remember this statement. If you remember nothing else from what I said tonight, I want you to remember this statement. Okay? Power of words, guys. Faults are over amplified assets. I can't take credit for that. It's in this book. This is the title. The title seems crazy. The dark side of the light chasers. It's not really have anything to do with chasing spirits, which is what I thought it was. Anyways, faults are over amplified assets. I freaking love that. So my faults are simply assets that I have over amplified. So what does that mean? Well, when you over amplify something, what do? Turn it down a notch, right? If I tend to be verbally honest, is that a fault? No. There's nothing wrong with having my throat chakra completely cleared and being able to communicate, but maybe I need to turn it down just a little bit, right? Because people have feelings and it doesn't really work really well when everything just comes blobbling out of my mouth and I say whatever I want. So what have I done? I've taken that. I mean, I remember when I was in high school getting myself into a lot of trouble because I just said whatever I wanted. So now as an adult, 41 years old, I've learned tone it down just a little bit, right? When I get into a space where I feel like I'm going to start yelling or yakking or being crazy with everyone, what do? I sit in it. I think about it for a second. Literally happens a lot faster than that, right? Because you get good at it. You practice. When your brain is going as fast as mine is, you practice. And so it doesn't take quite as long. But yes, I think before I speak. Do I really want to say that? Maybe not, right? So I've turned my fault into an asset. It's just an over amplified asset. So somebody's like, well, what if my fault is that I'm jealous? Like, how am I going to turn that down? Well, just use it in a different way. So maybe you're in a relationship with someone, right? And you're feeling jealousy. You already know because you've been told and you are self-reflecting, you know that your jealousy is not justified, okay? It's coming from a bad place of insecure thoughts of when something else happened to you, so you just know you're getting caught up in this. So when it triggers and you start feeling jealous, and do something kind. Do something kind for the person you're with. Oh, I'm going to turn my jealousy into, hey, babe, I really like your hair today. Anytime you feel that jealous thought, give a positive response to the person that you're with in your relationship or do something kind for them because you just took that jealousy and turned that into something positive. Okay. Now, you got to do that using your negative behaviors differently. If you repress them, you disown them, you try to squash them down, you try to suffocate them, then that's when you become what I call a hot mess, is because you are suppressing everything. And so then you're walking around life and you're so disconnected and you're so focused on all your thoughts that are negative because you're squashing them down. And what happens, right? We actually magnify whatever we're trying to get rid of because we're thinking about it so much, because we're fighting it so much that that's what actually becomes us. And that's probably one of the hardest things to do, is just sitting in the moment and accepting it and thinking about it deeply and being okay with it and letting it reverberate. Because if you keep fighting it, you're just going to keep doing it and you're thinking about it constantly. And so it's right there on the tip top of your tongue. You're trying not to be angry. So what are you doing? You're being angry all the time because that's all you're thinking about, right? And what we resist persists. So think about it. What can I do with my anger to turn this negative behavior into something different? I'm going to turn it down. How am I going to do that? When I start feeling angry, I am going to chew a piece of gum. I don't care. Make it simple. When I start feeling angry, I'm going to have a Lucky Charm. I'm going to have a Jolly Rancher. When I start feeling angry, it can be something super simple. Here's what you're doing. You're causing your brain to stop because you're abruptly giving it a change of direction. So like I'm sitting here and I'm holding this really cool quartz heart that I got. And I have it in my hand and I'm doing this because I fidget a lot when I talk. And so I have to have something in my hand. And usually when I'm doing sessions, right, you guys know I'm muscle testing. So I have this because I need it. It's part of my fidget. But maybe when I get angry, I have something close by, right? You've seen people keeping a rubber band, right? They snap themselves or they start tapping. That's all you're doing is you're stopping that thought process. So, put something in your hand and start, rubbing it in your hand. Whatever, you just need a sensory. You can sensory stimulus yourself to stop. You feel angry, smell something that you love. It really is super cool how your brain works like that. So use your negative behaviors differently. Redirect your anger. Okay, I have all this pent up anger. Hey kids, for a second, I need to go run around the house outside. I'm going to be a goofball. I'm feeling really angry, so I'm going to turn this into something funny. I'm going to run around the house without, a coat on in the middle of the snow. And then I'm going to come back in. By the time I'm done, everyone's laughing. No one's angry. I'm redirecting my approach. The next thing we're going to talk about is expressing yourself. Okay. Because we come out and we're just these beautiful kids and we're running around and we just don't care. Even children who are in places where their parents are not so hot usually have this beautiful self-expression when they're really, really young, right? And then by the time you're 5, it's usually when you've learned to get rid of that. So the problem that happens is that magically delicious. I know. Lucky Charms are great. I don't eat them anymore because I do keto, but they were definitely my go-to. Okay. When you're a child, this happens because I got to get a drink. Because as a kid, you start doing all these things, right? You start acting. Oh, my light died. You start acting, and then you learn that some behaviors bring acceptance and some behaviors you get in trouble for. So you start molding into doing behaviors that bring acceptance to you, and you stop doing behaviors that bring bad qualities. So in a lot of cases, this is great, right? Because do I really want to hit my sister in the face with a stick? Yes. No, I don't. So that is, I'm only laughing about that because I know that, okay, I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole. Okay. You start molding your behavior so that you get positive. And then you see kids, right? Don't you love that? What resist persist. You see kids that are acting out negatively because they don't get any attention from their parents and they'd rather have negative than nothing at all. And then they start getting really confused in life because they don't care. They're just acting out to get something back. And everyone look at Stetson's profile photo. It's very cute. So, oh, yes. So we start acting and we just want some of that negative attention. So then we go into adulthood and we're still acting for that negative attention because we don't know how to get healthy, positive attention. We don't care if it's good or it's bad. We just want the attention. We learn how to do this. So that's one of the downfalls, right? But we don't want to be that person that's like, well, I grew up in this really crappy house with really crappy parents. And so this is why I act the way I do. We can't do that either. Because we've been handed a deck of cards and that's the deck of cards that we got, and maybe we don't like the way it's shuffled, but that's how the cards are and that's how we got to do it. So we're not going to be the victim holders. We're not going to be the woe is me, all this happened, blah, 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 because this is why. There are thousands of people out there that have been through even more than you have that do not have a woe is me card and they are highly successful. All right. So I know that I'm really not the type of person to sugarcoat this one, and I won't. And if you're looking for a practitioner, by the way, that's really good at that, is not me. Okay. So anyways, moving right along. So learning behaviors that bring us acceptance, and that's how we form ourselves. And that's why we end up disliking who we are, is because we have too many people tell us that, your curly hair, right? I mean, I grew up my entire life. What do you think I was doing? Straightening my freaking hair. because everyone said that, you know, I don't know that everyone said, but I definitely was raised in a culture where curly hair was not the in thing. All the pretty girls had beautiful straight hair. And so I learned to hate my hair, and I used to straighten it and do all kinds of things to try to make it not be curly. And then I became at an age where I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. This is my hair, and why am I fighting with it when really I should love it and embrace it, right? But we get so worried about, though, what will they think? Well, okay, we don't care what anyone thinks. We're going to ditch out all those past agreements, okay? This is why we don't care what people think. People have good qualities and people have bad qualities. Plain and simple. There is no one on the face of this earth right now that does not have good qualities and have bad qualities. And of course, those qualities, really, who are they defined by? You know, when it comes down to it, really, what's right or what's wrong, right? We're all kind of culturally put into the what's right or wrong. We don't do things that make people feel bad. We don't do things that take away from other people. That's kind of where we go with that. But everybody has good qualities. Everybody has bad qualities. It has to be that way. Okay. When I say the word perfect love, you think of someone. If I say there's a person who has perfect love and perfect joy, you in your head think about someone who acts completely perfect. A person cannot have perfect love and perfect joy if they do not have a combination of all the opposites. Okay? It's no different than the color white. Is white really a color of white? No, it's all the colors, right? You have to have the opposite of right to know wrong. You have to have the opposite of happy. You have to have the opposite of sad to know happy. You can't. How do I know if I'm happy if I've never felt sad before? I don't. Okay. I don't know if I have perfect love unless I've had complete sadness. I don't know that I'm elevated to my highest self unless I've been at my lowest low. I know that I've had a self-awakening because I've been at the bottom of the barrel. I've been climbing my way out. I've wanted to do nothing but scream because I hated life in the moment so much, right? But I now know I'm enlightened. I feel joy because I know what it feels like to not have it. So we don't want to suppress negative all the time, because when we do, we suppress the opposite. We suppress the positive. So you just feel it. And like Jan just said, what you resist persists. So when I say feel it, I don't mean feel it to resist it. I mean feel it. Just accept it. You're feeling angry? Just relax your shoulders and breathe and feel it. Yeah, you're right. I do. Right? And then we go in Alice in Wonderland, curiouser and curiouser. Why do I feel angry? And you just let it come. Okay? So, learning to use our faults. I'm going to tell you how I've done this, and I'm totally fine with it. I used to feel like something was wrong with me because I don't like social activities. And then I learned about myself, and I realized the reason that I don't like social activities is because automatically when I walk in a room, I am a sponge, a complete SpongeBob SquarePants. I suck in everybody's emotions. So if you got in an argument with your spouse before you came to the party, you are worried about something that your kid's doing at home, I can feel it and I know it. That's a lot to take in, right? When I'm walking through Walmart and I don't intentionally try to block it, I can feel everything that's going on with every person around me. So then the only people that I can really be around are people that are happy. Well, that doesn't include fake happy. So if somebody is faking it, right, that's the worst for me. I'm just like, oh my gosh, stop. Stop with your like, right? I know. You know what I'm talking about. Those people are the worst for me, because I'm just like, you know what? I just want to slap your face. Like, stop doing the fake happy. I don't do that well. So it's really hard for me to go, no offense, ladies. Guys don't do this. So when I used to be like in the military and dudes would get together, they don't do this fake happy crap. But when I get together with women, they are so stupid happy fake. I just can't tolerate it. So I don't go out with people. I don't go to stuff. I don't go to baby showers. I don't go to book clubs. I don't go to lunches. I can't do it. I don't want to know about your fake little cutesy family things. No. But if you invite me, if someone was like, hey, we're going to get together and we're just going to talk about all the crap that's going on in our lives, I would be totally game. So I used to think there was something wrong with me because I didn't like to do this. I didn't want to hang out in the cheerleader club. I didn't want to do all this. Nothing's wrong with me. Not wanting to hang out with people. I just know I absorb all your crap. And so unless you're really authentic, I don't want to be around you. So what have I done to turn this into a positive, right? Because that's what we're talking about, not apologizing for who we are. What have I done to turn this into a positive? Here we are, right? I'm 100% authentic with you on my social media page. And this is how I socialize. And it works really great for me because I don't have to absorb everybody else, but I can be around you and I can talk and I can tell you all about all these cool things to make your life better. And this is what works for me. Ta-da! All right, you guys. So I'm going to do a giveaway. I'm going to give you each a moment to also participate, since some of you didn't hear this at the first. If you would like to share this video, share it, type shared, and you can get a free, I'll do a drawing. You'll get a free energy healing session with me with blocked emotions. So I do what's called the body code. If you are not familiar with that, basically we tap into the subconscious and find any imbalances that you have and get rid of them because they cause all sorts of things like pain, nightmares. They cause you to act out, anger, frustration, you name it. And it's probably associated with whatever problem you're having. Absorption issues. If you're having nutrition problems, absorption issues, we can work on all sorts of stuff. So you'll get a free session with me. And now I'm also incorporating the Healy. So this is really cool. I actually was just running a scan on a client before I started to help her detox from some mold that she was exposed to. So this little puppy sends out some cool energy vibrations that help to balance. And if you're like, how does that work? I don't live where you are. Go find my video that's on the top of my page. I have my hair in a little pom-pom and it's really cool. And I explain to you how I can make this really beautiful energy connection. And I basically use that same energy channel to use the Healy. It actually works on the same pathway. It's really cool. In fact, the first time that I used this and I was doing it remote with my client, I ran into it. Like energetically ran into it. And I really had to figure out how to work with the Healy, working with my client at the same time. It was really quite insane. I'm going to share something really cool with you. I was working with a client the other day. I love sharing these moments with you. I was working with a client the other day. We ran across a trapped emotion and I told her what age it was at. And she was like, I have no idea what that is. And I can't remember what the emotion was. It could have been sorrow, something like that. And I told her, because she'd never worked with me before. And I said, okay, it's totally fine if you don't remember what the emotion is from the event. Your subconscious doesn't need to know about it. Like I muscle test and ask. You can ask your subconscious anything. My one kid, he's not on here, but he likes to have his friends over and we muscle test his friends, but it's really funny. Anyways, so I told her, I said, we don't need to know any more about the event. Your subconscious is saying that we don't. So it's okay if you can't remember it. That's the beautiful part of the body code is your subconscious knows what it is. So it's saying we don't need to know more about it. And if it did, we would just ask them simple questions. Sometimes I just get an impression from your subconscious and I can tell you like your event is from when I see a boat, something about boat and water. And then a lot of times you'll know right away. You're like, oh yeah, that just popped into my head. But we went to release this and she's like, man, I can't remember what that is. And I said, okay, well, as we go, if we hit an event and you're like, you want to know more about it, you can just say, is it the event that I'm thinking of? Hey, by the way, when I touch my neck, it turns red. So I don't want anyone to be like, you are breaking out in hives. I told her if she wants to say, is this event about my Uncle John, then I can muscle test yes or no, right? And so, but that's not what I told her. I told her that, how did I word it? So I told her she could ask any question. She could say, is this associated with an event? You can say, you know, anything you want. You can even say, is it the event that I'm thinking about in my head, right? Because what if you had something really dramatic happen to you and you're like, you don't want to talk about it? Especially when I'm working with teens, right? They don't want to talk about it. They just want to know if it's the event they're thinking about. And so we just muscle test. And so I tell her that she can do that. And now I remember what I said. I said, and I used the name of someone, but I'm going to change the name. So I said, you can even say, is this an event that is associated with Emily? And I just had a name completely. And she just got emotional. And so for a minute, I was like, is everything okay? And she's like, that's what it is. And she had told me that the moment that I said that name, it was associated with a person who had been in a tragic car accident, and it was that person's name. And so immediately her subconscious knew what it was, and it was that exact same age that happened. And I told her, I'm like, that's the beautiful part. That's the beautiful part of how this works. Your subconscious shows me things or has me say a name, or I have done sessions where I've been contacted by a family member and they always just want something simple. And your family member might need a trapped emotion released on themselves because they're going through something on the other side and they're really feeling this grief from something that happened that they couldn't process or get rid of when they were here. And they're just trying to tell you. And I see this a lot with people when they don't sleep well at night. And so when someone comes to me and they're like, I'm having a really hard time sleeping, I keep waking up at the same time and I can't go back to sleep. Sometimes it's a family member and they're really trying to get a hold of you to ask you a question. And I'll tell you what happens when you ignore that. They get a little more persistent and a little more persistent. So all we do is just see what they want to say. Maybe they need a trapped emotion release. Maybe they have a message for someone, whatever. It's really, really beautiful. My other favorite one is releasing inherited trapped emotions. I found the cool one that I told you guys about the other day, where I was working with a client and I told her that I had an impression that she had miasm, which is a sickness that gets passed down. So say somebody in your family had like smallpox, right? And it was really traumatic for them and it gets trapped in the DNA and passed on to you, then you can have an inherited sickness. And so this person had an inherited sickness. And sometimes I can tell what it is, or I know it's a family from like the same thing as like scarlet fever or measles or something like that, right? Of course, all those things have been modified, but it's the same family as a certain virus. And I told her, I'm like, I'm not picking up on a specific thing as far as a virus goes. I was like, but I am telling you that I'm getting an impression of amputations of feet. And so I initially thought, we're working on her. I'm thinking this is going to be family member back 17 generations or something. I found one the other day that was back 47 generations. So they like to say like 20 years is a generation. So that's like 940 years ago. Pretty cool. Anyways, so I tell her about amputations. I'm like thinking to myself, so it must be an ancestor that you had like 20 years ago or something that, had amputations, which was obviously super common back then. And she said, no, this is my dad. And I was like, what? And she said, yeah, has a double amputation. And then it went back further because I traced it and I said, well, this is actually from your grandpa. And she said, well, he had polio and couldn't use his legs. So it's really cool. I love it. Those are my moments where I have to sit for a second as a practitioner. And I'm just like, this is so cool that your subconscious is showing me this impression of whatever. It doesn't usually make any sense to me, but when I tell you about it, then suddenly you're like, oh my gosh, yeah. And even if you can't and you don't remember, it's okay. Because some people really don't remember much of their past at all. And that's totally fine because that's the beauty of why it works so well. Okay, you guys, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your night. Thank you so much for hopping on here. Don't forget, if you shared, I will do a little drawing to see who won a free session. If you do want a session and you don't win, no worries. You can just go to blockemotions.com. You're welcome to message me. Messaging me on Messenger is the fastest way to get a hold of me and ask me any questions that you have. Also, I just have to say, disclaimer, I used to go through all of my posts on my Honest Sassy Mama page and check all of the comments, and I can't do it anymore. It takes too much of my time. And I was literally spending like 2 hours every night scrolling through everyone's message. So if you really want me to see what you're saying, you should tag me. But you can always message me at any time. I love you guys so much. And I love hearing from you. I really do. What socks did I wear today? Well, come on now. I know I forget to show them. So I am wearing my, sorry if my quirks come off as serial killery. Okay. I am wearing currently my Jack PJ pants, okay? And I have on my I am I am 41. I am wearing my, oh, you can't even see them because they're on the top. It would just be easier to take these off. My kid's probably like, you're such a dork. I am. Don't mind the dog here. I'm wearing my Jack socks. It would have been so much easier to just show you that, but then I wouldn't have fallen down like a goof. Okay. Well, I hope you guys have a fantastic night, and I will be back tomorrow morning. You have cute toasty socks for sure. Okay, guys, have a great night. Hello, I can't even shut this off. Oh.